Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Freshly Pressed. Today we have with us Scott Beecher, one half of the team Unearthly Comics, all the way from Fort Worth area in Texas. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
In your own words, can you get us give us a brief history about yourself and how you got into comics and how you got interested in the whole medium itself?
Sure. Yeah, as a kid, I grew up reading Superman comics. Back in the 80s, gravitated towards more Marvel stuff with the Incredible Hulk. That was like my became my character of choice for collecting and reading. So I really enjoyed comics for learning how to read. It helped me with that. So I thought that was great. Plus, I got to look at cool pictures and monsters fighting each other. So that was always fun. And then I just continued the love of comics collecting for, you know, still collecting now, but then, wanting to draw. So I draw my own little comics and, slowly get, better and better to try to put them into a comic book form for other people to appreciate. So, yeah, it's been a fun journey.
Absolutely, that's amazing. uh 80s 80s Superman was something else, right? Like I started reading most of my comics in the 90s, but even in 90s, like, Superman was really like gritty and a very different era of like Superman comics in general, right?
Oh yeah, it was different, and mine wheelhouse was like early '80s. For a lot of the comics, I still have the first comic I can remember having. I'm sure I had more before that. Was I think it was a adventure comic or something with Batman punching Superman on the cover with the kryptonite gloves, and it was such a cool cover. And then I have a it's all chewed up because my dog at the time when I was a little kid chewed out the corner of it, but it's ripped to shreds. But I still got it in a bag and board in my collection somewhere. But yeah, that's the first comic I can remember, and having. So
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, you can't go wrong with comics. Comics are great.
I agree. I agree. One of the first Superman comics that I know it was not super appropriate as a kid to read that one, but
That's
was
right.
the one where Superman. Do you know, like, Superman 2 had similar things where, like, there was another Superman, and uh, there was a second Superman, and the second Superman was always like drunk, or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
doing these things.
And
So
had the beard stubble, and yeah. You knew he was evil because he had a beard stubble and dark blue.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, it was that was a fun run to read as well,
Oh
and I think it was, yeah.
yeah, I love those, and yeah, the movies, of course, when those were out when I was a kid too. So yeah, those, man, I was all about all that stuff, and yeah, just yeah, those were just fun movies. The part that scared me as a kid was the kid at Niagara Falls that was playing on the beam or what, and he was like, the mom was telling him not to, and he was like on the outside facing the Niagara Falls and falls in, and Superman rescues him, of course. But I remember that freaking me out as a kid. It's like, oh my god, I'm gonna fall into the Niagara. Mm-mm.
Ha- have you been to Niagara Falls at all?
Yeah, when I was a kid, so that's probably what helped scare me from
Yeah,
avoiding getting too close to the edge there. But yeah, I've been once as a kid. It was really cool. Yeah, definitely worth
yeah,
going.
yeah. I went there recently in April, and
Oh, did
yeah, yeah, and I can totally imagine how intimidating that would be. Like, as a kid, you might have scared the living daylights out of you if you've read it.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
That's amazing. That's
Mm-mm.
awesome. Tell us a bit about your campaign, Stilettos, and what's it about? What's the story like? And yeah, give us a brief of what's the comic about.
Yeah, it's basically Showgirls meets the most dangerous game. So, a group of dancers are hired to work at a remote cabin, and revenge and vengeance, and you know, you know, blood and snow and chaos happens. So it's a fun revenge thriller. So we had a lot of fun, Nick and I working on that together. It was a really good time.
Nice, nice. I think this is almost like a running theme. I think in both your books, there's a lot of like dark shadows, claustrophobia. There's like these remote cabins become like really important
Yeah,
part of the plot and stuff like that. Is it like do you some is it something that fascinates both of you as creators? Like because it's kind of like I think it's a huge part of both the books now.
yeah. Actually, you're right. I think isolation can be very scary, and yeah, I'm sure there's some untapped traumas from who knows isolation that makes that part of stories. But I think yeah, not having anywhere to escape to, I think is always scary. And so you're trapped no matter where you are. Like what's the greater evil or what's the greater threat? Are you going to face? Are you going to face the horrible guys in the cabin, or is it going to be the elements out in the snow and with our Gator Man, is it going to be the swamp and slowly taking you apart, or is it going to be the serial killer in his dilapidated mansion that'll just tear you to shreds? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lose situation.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of the tagline from the original Alien, right? In space, no one can hear you scream. So it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then what the Aliens vs Predator had, the no matter who wins, we lose, or something like that. That had, so yeah, yeah. I think yeah, isolation is always, I think, a good character on its own in a story, and just that ominous, just feeling of dread is, it adds, I think, to any story.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And I think it also especially I think in Gatorman, I think you give a really good sense of like people don't realize how isolated till they actually get attacked for the first time,
Sure.
and like that it just adds that edge to the terror of the whole situation itself. So yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah, where you can't run anywhere. Mm.
exactly. Awesome. Tell us a bit about the rewards and all the pledge levels
Yeah.
in the campaign.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, we have the $5 one is your PDF of the file. So any support is always appreciated. So just doing that is a great help. Then we have a tier for just getting the trade paperback for people that are interested in actually holding the physical copy. I always enjoy having a physical copy, especially of comics. It just, there's something different to having the feel of it, and the smell of a comic book and all that kind of stuff. I think is just special. So so we have that for people that want a trade paperback, which then includes obviously a PDF. Then we have a double feature, which I think is a fun tier because that gives people the opportunity to maybe get Gator Man kills when they didn't know it existed, and so this then gives them that opportunity to check out our first successful story, and then kind of double feature with stilettos afterwards. So we're very proud of that one. And then we have something for retail vendors that are interested in carrying the book. We have for five of them for a cheaper price to help stock the shelves. And then we have a fun variant cover that we're doing, which is just that image there that you have with the nice stiletto, just a nice striking image that I think plays really well as a nice simple but I think elegant cover for our variant. So
Nice. That's awesome. That's really, really good.
Hmm.
It also, I think, I love the whole like the color scheme and the vibe of it as well. It goes really well with the theme.
Thank you.
Um,
It
yeah, fantastic.
that I'm not a good colorist, so there's a simpler palette I can use. I can hide a lot of flaws. so so I am more than happy to stick to just trying to do the colors on a cover and leave it more simplistic. So I'm hoping it still gets some of that the feel of the story without having to me doing a lot of colors is not a good thing.
But yeah, I think that's still a great thing. Like it's great to have that kind of like you. It's great that you're self-aware, and then you have like great workarounds that kind of pushes you to be more creative in a sense that like you have a limited set of tools, and then you can use that more creatively. Um,
That's
Sometimes
very
that
true.
that brings out the best results.
Yeah, yeah, I think we find that through almost all art. Those limitations are what push things forward in ways we don't expect, and so just it adds that extra, flavor to something that if I could have done that in a different way, who knows? It might not have been as interesting looking. So yeah, it makes it kind of fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's awesome. Cool. So, tell us, like, that's I love this segment usually. This is like I love to put people on the spot as well.
Sure,
So, uh, what are the top five pop culture things that you like? Uh, in terms of like, could be a movie, could be a TV show, could be a comic book, all of
sure.
the above.
Yeah,
Or or none of the above. It could be a good
sure.
game or something like anything that like you keep revisiting
Yeah,
uh, again and again,
yeah.
and kind of ingrained in
Oh
you.
yeah,
So
for
yeah,
sure. I do. As you can tell, I do like horror stuff. So watching horror movies is always fun. I tried to I corrupt my kids as early as possible by showing them scary movies, so that way I have people to watch them with. So that's always fun to go watch scary movies and pull up just old slasher movies. Or I watched Alligator the other day just because I wanted to watch a good B movie, and I was like, I had never seen it before, but I'd seen the title and I was like, I got to give this a shot, and it was really good. I was very surprised. So and then I had to follow that up with Alligator 2: The Mutation, which isn't as good, but still fun. Yeah. I know that's a surprise that it wouldn't be as good, um, but yeah. So scary movies are always fun. Uh, I like playing scary video games. So we're again showing my kids the Resident Evil games. We're playing through the remastered version, so we're on Resident Evil 4 now. So playing through those, So I like video games. Pretty much any geek thing you can think of. The movies, the games, comics. I don't get to the shop as often as I would like to. So most of my collecting now is more back issues and trying to complete runs of comics I've enjoyed as a kid. So that's more my focus there. But I do
mm,
enjoy picking up stuff, and Nick he's great because he goes to the comic shops all the time. So he gives me the scoop on what's happening in X Men or Wolverine or what's going on with the current settings. So that helps to kind of get my fix of modern comics.
absolutely. No, that's fantastic. No, uh, my for like for as you said about kids, like my daughter's really into Scooby Doo, and she's just 6, and like
Yeah.
she's really attracted to scary stuff. um she also reads like this horror thriller manga,
Okay.
with and like uh it's written by a local author, Australian author, and drawn by her as well, and she's such a big fan of that. um
That's
yeah, like
awesome.
I love that. Like I love that she's able to like explore that stuff without getting scared at this age. So it's amazing. Yeah.
It's healthy, I think, to let them explore different things, and And I think, yeah, introducing, especially the school that you're introducing her to, creators that are local and um, more underground or independent type. So I think that's kind of fun because it helps give them a taste of not just the general big two or big whatever of whatever the culture is, but it's fun to know that there's real people creating that stuff on a local level also.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like I think a few weeks ago at one of the conventions I was tabling at, uh, the author of the books that she's fan of was tabling as well, and I got her to meet her, and she was like she was over the moon. She was like, "Oh, that's amazing,"
Mhm.
like
That's,
I got to actually meet the author of a book, and like that thing in itself was such a big thing for her. So
oh,
you know,
sure, yeah, that's great for inspiration, and who knows what that'll mean for her in the future for maybe wanting to do writing or art or whatever. That's really cool.
yeah, absolutely. Now, do you like what like I know what's probably your favorite like favorite horror movie? Like if they were like one
Uh,
to pick, one
yeah,
is probably too tough to pick, but
uh, yeah, yeah. I think, and there's such a like such a different variety of horror. You can have your horror comedies. Yeah, I like Psycho Gorman is great for just a really weird but absurd and but practical effects and just creature designs. It's such a weird movie, but I love that one so much. It's so good. Yeah, I can love that one. I can love the traditional slashers. Of course, Texas Chainsaw and the Jason movies and the Freddy movies and those type of things. And then I also have been really digging the X and Pearl and Maxine comes out here. I think fairly soon. That Ty West trilogy. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm not I'm not gonna like turn any horror away. I'm gonna give it all a shot, and yeah, I like all the different types of horror you can find. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
excited for. Yeah, you're
No,
right. It's hard to pick.
80s was such a fantastic time for horror, like both good and bad. Like there was so much like variety of horror movies back then. Like not just like obviously slasher was like a most exploited genre in the
Sure.
80s, but there was also like I think Exorcist was before the 80s. I think it was the 70s, but
Yeah.
Exorcist was like still one of the best horror movies
Oh yeah.
ever made, and yeah.
Yeah. You got some good ones. What did you have? You seen a Sting? That was a fun one. If you've seen Sting yet.
Sting was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, you
I
want to talk
think The
about
Thing is
isolation?
probably. Sorry?
Yeah. So if you want to talk about isolation, the trapped in the like apartments, it's snowing outside, they're not going anywhere, and then you got that crazy space spider.
Yeah.
Spoiler. I
Yeah. I mean, at this point, if somebody had to watch Sting, they might have watched it
Yeah,
already.
first like 20 seconds of the movie is it crashing through the the windows. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like even for that matter, like The Thing does the same thing, right? Like
but
it's in
yeah,
a remote station and like snow and yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
and then you're just sitting around the campfire just waiting to see what happens. Which of you is going to be the one. Yeah, that was a fantastic one too,
Yeah.
and it
There was
holds up
this
effects.
yeah.
Sorry, I cut there. Yeah.
Oh no, 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 that's okay. There's obviously a bit of delay, so it's okay.
Yeah,
There's this movie which is actually highly underrated. It's not a great movie, but I think Peter Weller is such a great actor. He just elevates most of the material he's in.
sure.
So there's this movie called The Screamers, which is based on a Philip K. Dick story called Second Variety.
Okay.
Um, and it shares some parallels with The Thing in the sense that the Screamers are these shape shifting aliens, not aliens, but they are these things that humans created to fight a war, and then they became sentient, and they like they were shape shifting and killing human beings to take over their colonies. And yeah, the ending is pretty similar in the sense that you like everyone is trying to figure out who the screamer is and who the
Sure.
thing is, and yeah, it's kind of left to the viewer's imagination
Very nice. It's called Screamers. I'm not even familiar with
Yeah,
that. I can I will add it to my watching list. I'm all
yeah.
you know, good to find new stuff. Mm.
Yeah, it definitely works as a B movie, if not like a mainstream movie. Like it came a bit late for for the material because it was like I think mid 90s. By then, we already had like almost like mid 90s, I guess.
Was
It
it?
was like after the heyday of Peter Weller, like after all RoboCop and everything
Yeah.
was all in the past, and yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching my. I don't think my parents knew what they were getting themselves into, but I wanted to go see RoboCop in the theater, so they took me. And yeah, I think they thought it was a superhero movie, and yeah, it was. Luckily for me, I wasn't sitting by them, so they couldn't find me in the theater to pull me out of there. So I got to watch the whole thing, while they waited in the lobby.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm pretty sure. I think that was because it was because of VCR. I got to watch a lot of like VHS
Yep.
because I got to watch a lot of these movies alone as a kid. Um, like I watched RoboCop, Total Recall, like Jurassic Park, and the one that scared the shit out of me was actually Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one. It was like it was actually quite
Really?
a yeah. I mean, it was a scary movie for a kid, to be honest. Like it was quite brutal, like the violence and everything in that movie. So
Yeah. And you had the practical effects of them and the costumes, which looked amazing. And then, yeah, I could definitely. And you had the kind of the grime of New York City, and so yeah, I could see where that could be kind of like intense, for, I mean, hell, I know it. What was it? The Never-Ending Story. That scared me with the wolf chasing the kid and him stuck in the mud and all that stuff. So yeah, there's always those movies that you look back on and you're like, how did that scare me so much? Yeah. Yeah, but there's certain moments that'll just get you.
yeah, yeah. There's also, I think, these movies are so beautifully written. They have certain like they're so focused on having good characterization that when you feel for the characters, and as kids you're like really kids like you're really emotional and you get connected with these characters, and when something brutal happens to them, it just punches you in the gut really. Yeah,
Sure.
a lot. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what Godzilla minus one. Yeah, that's a great movie for characters, and it made me actually. I mean, I've watched all the Godzilla movies, but that you actually care about that one, and it's actually entertaining in a whole different way. Like Godzilla didn't even need to be in it, and it's still an entertaining movie. It's just well done.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I am yet to watch Godzilla minus one, but I did watch the
Oh,
Shin Godzilla, the one,
okay,
earlier
yeah,
one, and it absolutely loved that one. Yeah,
yeah,
like yeah, it's amazing how Godzilla becomes a backdrop to the whole
yeah.
story, and yeah,
Yeah, it's on our
it's
Netflix here. I don't know if it's different for you, if it's a regional thing or not, but it's available on Netflix for us.
fantastic. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
Nice. I was looking forward to watching it in the theaters, but like with kids, it becomes really hard to catch any movie in the theater, to be honest. Like, yeah,
yeah, that's how it is for us. It's definitely a challenge, and now things go to streaming so fast. By the time we have a moment, it's already home. So we'll just rent it that way.
yeah,
Yeah,
very true, very true. Yeah, there's also I think like in the 90s, so like it was that era of like really like B movies really catching up, and like all the amazing like 15 Friday the 13th sequels, and the Child's
oh
Play, and all those kind of like really schlocky horror
oh yeah,
action movies. Yeah, really catching up.
yeah.
It was I remember watching this Gator movie called Lake Placid. I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah,
remember that one.
yeah. I remember that one. Yeah, I went to the theater and saw that one. That was really good. And they've done several sequels of that one too, but I've never seen those.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, I think there's a few sequels there. Yeah, but yeah, yeah. Lake Placid was good. I like that. And, and of course, I like the
Yeah,
if you've watched those are fun. You talk about schlocky B movies are those the Piranha what 3D and then the double D, you know.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I think those are fun too. I haven't watched the most recent. Like they keep making a piranha movie every few years. I think now.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I haven't
Piranhas
watched
and
the most recent ones. Yeah.
seems to
Sorry, you were
sell.
saying?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'd say girls in bikinis and piranhas seem to sell for some reason. I don't know why. You know.
That's the producer's keywords.
Yeah, yeah. You had me at bikini. All right, you can make the movie. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think that, and then teen slasher movies with like Scream and what was the other one? Final Destination. I don't know
yeah.
why, like, yeah, it became so popular. Like, obviously, the first Final Destination movie was epic. Like, it was so much fun to watch. Yeah,
Yeah, they're fun.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Do you like who's your favorite favorite director like as a horror director? Since you're like a big horror fan.
I mean, the Carpenter is an easy answer for sure, just because he's the body of work. I don't know that I've necessarily followed directors per se. I think it's more following. Like I go back to it again, but Mia Goth for the X and Pearl movies. I mean, she's absolutely incredible, and so I tend to follow stuff like that where it seems to be in my wheelhouse for interesting things or really anything that A24 does. Yeah, I'll give them a shot. So it's maybe I go more for that. And then who did Midsummer? The guy that
Oh,
did Midsummer and Hereditary, right? Like those, I forget
yes, yeah,
those like I'll watch his movies, and he did Beau is Afraid, I think, if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken. So yeah, so I'll follow whoever that was. Yeah, I don't know the name. Yeah,
There's obviously you said A24. I think Edward Eggers is probably amazing as well. And The
yeah,
Witch and what
yeah.
was the
Yep.
other? Yeah, he did some like another horror movie as well, right? The Lighthouse. Yeah,
Okay, the black and white one with
Willem Dafoe
the
and Robert
yeah,
Pattinson. Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't go wrong with all that stuff.
Talking about isolation, that's a movie about isolation.
That seems to be a running theme here for some reason. I don't know. Yeah,
I think it does make for a very fascinating. Uh, I would say like it's fascinating setting because it then you can explore a lot of things around like how would people react to that, like because and like you have infinite amount of possibilities because human beings are unpredictable. They like and every outcome is plausible. So like
yeah,
they can react in any which way possible. So you can take characters in directions that that have not gone before. So
yeah, yeah. Exploring the physical and the mental isolation of things. Yeah, you can. Yeah, who knows what you'll get out of a character. So yeah, a lot of freedom there.
exactly, and there's also like this aspect of where what exactly that isolation brings you. Like for example, if you like in the Lighthouse movie, you're isolated on a tiny island in
Mhm.
Nova Scotia with just sea on every side. Like you don't have anything
Yeah,
there, like except dead seagulls, uh, to your
yeah,
company, and like there's woods, and like there's so many different settings that can yeah come with that. So
Mhm.
yeah, there's this show that actually I've been meaning to watch it. I think I should watch it, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's a similar theme, but it's about like uh, it's called Scavenger's Reign. I don't know if you've seen it.
I'm not familiar.
Um, yeah, it's about this space like these people in space explorers, and their ship crashes on a planet that's really beautiful, but it's very deadly. So like everything on the planet would kill you. Um, but it's also very psychedelic because like it like because the planet is kind of a living thing, and it kind of blurs your uh, like your experience of reality.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's real and what's not, and it just adds that element of it. So like it's very beautifully animated. It's an animated show.
Okay.
For Yeah, it's beautifully done. I've been meaning to catch up on it for a while, but yeah, it looks beautiful. And
I'll have to add that to my thing too. Yeah, it almost sounds not. I mean, not that it takes place in outer space, but it sounds like a Color Out of Space in a way. With if you've watched the Nicolas Cage one, that has that element of just unsettling environment and claustrophobia, and you don't know what is happening, and there's the colors and just everything. That's I like that movie a lot too.
nice. Awesome. We're coming close to time, but
Yeah,
before we go, I would love for you to take the stage and give us a pitch, a spiel of the whole comic book. What's it about, and why should people back this campaign?
sure. Yeah, so Stilettos Showgirls meets the most dangerous game. It's a great story of a group of dancers that are hired to perform at an isolated wooden estate, and chaos ensues, and revenge, and blood in the snow, and sharp pointy heels. So it was a lot of fun creating with Nick and myself, and we just hope that we can get it in front of enough eyeballs to appreciate it also.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you're a fan of Gatorman, then you must get this because I think it does carry your art style, which is I think a very that word, like for the lack of better term, it's on the screen, grindhouse, and it's
Yeah,
very yeah. And if it's if I know anything about Nick's writing, like it's super fast, very snappy cuts, and it involves a lot of like really good action, and like a
yeah,
lot of yeah, so
it definitely.
fast moving scenes. Sorry, you were
Yes,
saying.
no, no, I was agreeing with you. Yeah, it definitely moves you through the scenes very well, and yeah, I think one of the best compliments we had was that when they read Gatorman Kills, that they felt dirty reading it because the pages felt dirty, like the environment felt, like just like in the swamp, and just they could feel that presence. So yeah, the best compliment we've had is yeah, it makes you feel dirty. So there's your tagline
Yeah,
right there. Read
yeah.
our books. They'll make you feel.
They're definitely very atmospheric. Like they draw you into the atmosphere and make you feel part of the whole proceedings. So
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. All the best for the campaign, and hopefully it goes. I see that it's already fully funded, and
yeah,
I think you hit some stretch goals as well. So
yeah. Well, fully funded. We're excited to get into people's hands, and we do appreciate your support and help with sharing our message and allowing us to come talk to you. It's been a lot of fun, so I appreciate your time.
thank you so much for coming on the show, Scott. Like truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Have a good one.
you.